You know it's a season for beach reads and rom-coms, and this month's GMA Book Club pick, you're just going to love it. It's called The Love of My Afterlife. It's right on time, and so is its author, Kirsty Greenwood. Welcome to GMA.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So first of all, I told you already, I started reading this book. It is so funny, and the premise is just so creative, and I know a lot of readers, they're already connecting with it. So we had this reading rhythms party this past week here in Manhattan. We got video here. People gather, they read socially, and people absolutely loved it there. What's it been like for you to get all of this love for this book?
It's been bonkers and lovely. I wrote this book with no expectation beyond, I guess, cheering myself up and appealing to the small but loyal group of readers I did have at that time. So to now be getting this response is a dream. It's given me so much confidence, actually.
And you didn't even have to die for it, right?
No visits in the
before the afterlife. Okay, so your main character, Delphi, not typically the type of lead we often see in rom-coms, and probably, because of the fact she's dead, and that's not a spoiler alert
No, first page.
But she's very familiar to you.
Yeah, I identify as an introvert. I like to be indoors with a weighted blanket and my book. And I was in therapy a couple of years ago, and my therapist said, you have to get out of this cocoon. You have to try to meet people and socialise. And I thought that would be a really hard thing to do in London because there's all this, these rumours about the big city being, kind of no one wants to talk to each other and everyone keeps themselves to themselves. But actually people were really receptive to my friendship advances and having socialised, it made me feel so joyful. And I started thinking about how somebody who was even more introverted than I was would deal with that kind of thing and how they could start to connect with other humans. And I came up with the idea of Delphi having this literal life or death situation where she has to make friends and find her soulmate in order to save her own life.
Oh, it's so fantastic. I mean, the premise, when I read the premise alone, I was just like, okay, that's brilliant. I asked you where'd the idea come from. That's a silly question because this great idea just comes to you, right?
It's a mix of different ideas that kind of melted together in my head. And then I was like, oh, I really want to write that one.
Oh, it's great. So as you know, we partner with Little Free Library to get the copies of our GMA Book Club picks to readers all across the U.S. And this morning, one of our stewards, Justin Farley, has a question for you. So listen.
Okay, great.
As a middle school teacher, I was wondering what advice you would give aspiring readers and writers at the middle school level. And also, as a middle schooler yourself, what was your favorite book or books?
Okay, so I would say to middle school writers, don't fret or worry too much about whether your spelling or your punctuation is perfect, because when you're writing fiction, what's most important is how big your imagination is. The magical thing about writing is that you can make up anything you want and no one gets to tell you that you can't until you get a publishing deal and an editor who will tell you what you can do. But, these guys are young, they've got time. So I would say just think as far-reaching as you can, invent anything you want and treat it as playtime. And just have fun, I guess.
And playtime, because you don't necessarily have to have all of it figured out. You wrote this book with just sort of rough ideas, and you discovered it as you just wrote. You didn't know what was happening.
I did not know. I wanted to write, and I like to write as if I'm a reader. So I like to get my character into a real pickle and then be like, how on earth am I going to get her out of this? I find that really fun, and I hope that has transferred into the reading experience, that it is full of surprises. Because I was certainly surprised by some of the things that happened.
Well, you are such a pleasure. Kirsty Greenwood, thank you so much. And the book is called The Love of My Afterlife, and it is available right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.